Hey everybody, we obviously had a very volatile day in the market, so I hope you guys had a good day. I know towards the end of the day there, things did get a little bit choppier at the inside 4 hour getting stuck. You can see the sellers did come in 2-2 and grinded it lower, did not reverse it, but unable to take the morning lows. So you can see the conflict there, or the 60 in the month group against the day in the week group. So initially to start the week, weekly buyers gapped down and buy, right? So that's how they started it. If it's going to turn into a big short, we'll take out this low here and then puke. That being said, if we go to the monthlies, how are we going to get this reversal on the month, right? Or how are we going to recover that? Because you're down 6.37%. That's really red. That's an aggressive seller. It's a 2-2 in force, and you have still 25 days in the month. So that could get a lot worse, right? You could have the outside quarter, which would take you down here. So I want to be very aware of that. It's going to be hard to buy that dip, and we don't really want to go and do that on indexes unless we start seeing the VIX turnover and all the markets simultaneously reversing back up, which could happen tomorrow, but we'll have to see. Nothing is anywhere near reversing. We have zero signals in force on the week to the upside. Now, how did you know to be short on it? SPY was a little more difficult because you had to be intraday here on the RevStrat 60 short, which we did talk about on the stream in here. And we also said hold the short because it's full time for continuity down, and then boom, down they go, right? But if you caught the videos on YouTube, you could have nailed this all just from those videos. Because we mentioned Dow Jones, and we also alerted it on Twitter. If you have my alerts on Twitter, I said right here, this is where we want to know about it. And I just want to show you guys this because it's important to not only see things after they have occurred, but also see why things work. So it's like, why would Dow Jones work? Well, the monthly just flipped. Mind the new flip, right? And then you have the 2-2 right on the monthly flip with full time from continuity down, where the week is also red. So when that occurs, it's like through all those guys, right? Why wouldn't it do that? And if you go to IDBM, that's a 3122 rev strat with full time from continuity down from exhaustion risk. Why wouldn't it take out 215.38, right? Everything you're looking for, actionable signal plus full time frame continuity. So when you go and look at those, it's like right into the bottom of the try. Now a momentum shooter on the day. So that's a little bit of a problem still on the Dow. IDBM did firm up a little bit more, but still opening 2 down day, 2 down week, and a 2 down on the month. So how are you going to change that around? And you can see just one trade in here, 11% on the gap down. Really nice. Goes $25, closes down almost 20 bucks. So that being said, though, how are you going to reverse this month? They did reclaim that last month's lows, but you are nowhere near changing monthly continuity. So if you're trading up into this stuff, it's the day, week, and 60 group, which means you have today, this week, and the 60 minute. That's the only thing in your favor. And the reason that's important to know is because every time that 60 changes, it gives control back to the monthly guys who are obviously really aggressive sellers. So we want to know about that. If it's back and forth below 199.88, we're going to look to take all these guys out in succession, just like the daily time frame did, because this is the same thing where the quarter changes to red and a rev strat, and the magnitude of that is 187.53. And that puts you back into that big outside quarter, which would cause an outside year. And if you thought this was actually hard to see, go and look at the video. We said right here, yearly exhaustion risk plus the daily shooter, lining it up across multiple time frames. The other thing that's super cool is if you go and actually look at our yearly macro video, we specifically said this could occur because the 2-2 reversal magnitude was to take this out, and then it's nowhere near making the all-time high. So maybe it takes it out and starts coming back in, and it did, and we nailed that. So you can go and look at the video at the end of 2023, and we specifically talked about that on the yearly IBM. And that being said, though, Dow Jones also is going to look very similar, still having that monthly 1-2-2 in force at the close, so still staying down. We'd love to see them take these guys out, and with that Momo shoot, that could confirm that. So we'll see. Qs was one of the stronger ones on this gap down, with seeing a lot of attempted buys in the technology sector. So going to be the closest one to going 2-2 on a Tuesday should they attempt to recover. If we go into the daily try, it looks like this: poke up, poke down, closing outside of it now. So do we recover into that, or do we maybe retest and puke would be our question. That being said, though, if we go and hit the scans here, one thing we can make note of is staples and utilities. They went and sold both of those today. So they're rotating out of the defensive names. If they do that, rotating out of the defensive posturing, and then they continue selling the rest of the market, it's a market crash, right? They're getting out of everything. But if we start seeing them firm up with two days on a Tuesday this week, and we see a lot of them doing that, then it's rotation out of defensive, and they're buying the dip into like tech and all the other more risk on type names. So we'll see. But how are you going to reverse that would be our question. Still an inside week, and if we go on the month, it's 3-2 up in red, but has not taken out the weekly group of last week. So we'll see. Um, if we go into any of the specific utilities, something like AEP with the big outside day to start the week, they're going to really puke them. That would go 3-2, and any other outside days and utilities you could go after. The ones we normally look at are Duck and SO, which are still pretty strong, not doing too much, but could become outside weeks. So we'll see. If we go on the month, they're still pretty green there, so we prefer not to short those. Go after the red on the month. If we then go and take a look at the scans here, there's gonna be a lot to go through. So the biggest thing is when the market moves really big, the VIX goes really high, everything looks the same. So you're gonna have 2 down in green, 275 things 2 down in green. If we look for hammers, 24 hammers. So you got a few hammers in there. You'll see it's a lot of financial services. So if we see a lot of financial services, hammer scan in the morning, we can go after those. Ideally, we want full time for continuity up, but it's going to be difficult to have. Most of these things are red on the month to start the month. Could change that, but if we go and click on any of these, let's just say PNC Bank, hammer on the day. Could go back into last week's outside week, but you got some distance to cover to make that happen up into here around 169. So we'll see if they're going to do it. All the financials would, but notice XLF, not the strongest thing in the world. Real estates, or not real estates, regional banks. Also 3-2 down weeks, still outside of last week's range at this point. Slight 2 down in green. And if we just go through all the sectors, you'll see communications, slight 2 down in green, closer going inside day. If we go to industrials, slight 2 down green. We go to materials, slight 2 down. It's a little redder though. If we go to XME, which is the minor stuff, 2 down in green. If we go to gold, 2 down in green. 3-2-2 for Tuesday. Silver, 2 down in green. JNUG, 2 down in green. All that stuff. So we'll definitely keep an eye on all these 2 down in greens. But what we want to scan for is just see which ones are doing it. If you don't want to worry about the scans or you can't scan in force, what we want to do is day. And we can look for 2 down in green. And ideally full time for continuity, but we're not going to have much of that. These are going to be the only ones with continuity, and Nugget does not. So I'm actually curious if the rest of these don't either. Yeah, so maybe we got some full time for continuity, but we don't want to filter by that if you're going to get really specific with continuity. The other thing you can do is filter by market cap. So 100 billion plus, you can see when we're looking at this, you got a lot of the sector ETFs, so it's the whole market, right? Everything doing similar. And then a lot of the big tech names like Apple, AMAT, Amazon. You'll see Citigroup in there, CAT, Costco, which is a 322 actually. Gold is 322, I already know that. Maybe CRM. So you got a lot of 2 down in greens. The question just is, do we simultaneously try and recover this stuff or not? And it's really going to be on that intraday, because when this VIX gets really high like this, the 60 and daily signals become super important. So what we're going to scan is full time for continuity up in force. Go after that stuff, and then if the market starts turning back over, we'll go full time from continuity down with the month or quarter or week in force to the downside and try and hit that stuff. So that being said, the last thing we can do is just take a look and see, do we have any rev strats, which we don't really have many. So you can see Crocs in the cyclical. Could become 1-2-2 on a Tuesday. You'll notice this. I was wearing Crocs yesterday. They're pretty nice. So above that, 122.24 Crocs. Starbucks in cyclical. Not so much. Maybe it becomes a rev strat, but nowhere near doing that. 75. Triple M in the industrials. That could be a 1-2-2, and I believe that had full time for continuity should it negate that month. So that'd be a good thing to know. And it's I don't think it's quite a rev strat week, but it'd be a potential outside week into this stuff. Match in the communications could become a rev strat tomorrow as well, but like 3582, still very inside week, so it's not the best one there. Prefer the others. And then TFX, no idea what that is, but in the healthcare. If we go to 2 up in red, nothing. If you go to shooter, eBay, which is actually a 2 to the downside, so it does not count. If we go hammer, LDOS and tech, which is full time for continuity down at the quarter right now. So it is exhaustion risks down here above 143.48. Maybe it tries to change that. You'll see the try looks something like this. So you got a few rev strats in there, but really mainly got all those 2-9 and greens. You have a few inside days here. So inside day, I wouldn't call it remdesivir. RMD could become full-time from continuity up, or else it becomes inside bar down 312. And it looks like you got a chunk of health cares in here for sure. DVA, closer breaking down. So it's kind of slim pickings. Another 3-1 COR. Go MOH. Nothing up there. It's inside day, but inside week as heck. You're nowhere near taking out last week's lows, which is way down here. So that is, about all we got. Main things. Do we have a 2-2 in force tomorrow or not? If we don't, go after things like Dow Jones, momentum shooter down, or anything else like that, signal in force, plus continuity to the downside. If they're breaking up, we want continuity to the upside. And that's going to be about it. We'll stick on the gap list as well. We're going to have a lot of gappers, a lot of earnings stuff. When the VIX is high, the gappers get even better. So that is going to be it from me tonight. I know there's a lot going on, but as the week goes on, we'll be able to whittle it down a little more because everything looks the same. So tomorrow, who's taking out Monday's highs, who's taking out Monday's lows, that's all we want to know. And I'll see you guys then. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night and have had, so far, pretty good trading week if you're paying attention. So adios, have a nice one.